Welcome to the Octopod. I'm Kyle Davis, head of the Office of the CTO. Join us as we dive into the latest technologies and trends shaping business. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just looking to stay ahead in the digital age, this podcast is for you. Let's unlock opportunities with technology together. Let's jump in.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my Hybrid Trends podcast series, here for part 3 with Ihab from Dell. Ihab, do you want to introduce yourself?
Rob, always lovely to be with you, man. I'm Ihab Ghazzawi. I'm the EMEA AI and Emerging Technologies Partner Officer.
Excellent. So all things AI and cool new tech in the world of hybrid.
Absolutely.
I love that. What a job. What a job. So we've optimized our multi-cloud environment.
We have.
We've worked out why our AI projects are failing.
Indeed.
And now we need somewhere to scale them AI projects, which was one of the reasons they were failing. And we're going to talk about the Dell AI factory in 10 minutes. I'll in air quotes for you here because maybe not exactly 10 minutes. That's fine.
We'll try.
But I'm going to challenge it, Ehab, because I know what everyone's thinking on this podcast. They're like, yeah, just going to talk about servers for 10 minutes now. Isn't it? That's the AI factory. It's just servers, isn't it?
If somebody wants to come and buy a few servers from us, we're not going to say no, okay? But that is not a Dell AI factory. A Dell AI factory, my dear friend, is the following. I'll summarize it, and then if you want, we can just spend a few minutes on each. What is the outcome that you want to produce? Why are you doing this project to start off with? Once you understand that, then you can begin to identify your use cases. We'll spend a couple of minutes on use cases. Then you look at data. And we spoke about data in the previous podcast, didn't we? Yeah? Okay, beautiful. Then there's an infrastructure layer, which is where your servers come in. You just mentioned some servers, but it's not only servers, man. And then there's an ecosystem of applications and models and solutions and frameworks and tools. And on top of that, there is services. Do you remember when we spoke about adoption? We spoke about a strategy, a data cleansing, the services associated with the platform, setting it up, lifecycle management, the use cases, operating, scaling. It all comes together in the Dell AI factory. And Rob, why is it called a factory? Because tokens in, tokens out.
So we're manufacturing something.
Absolutely.
Tokens.
Absolutely, my friend. That is what it is.
It's almost like someone thought about the name.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I should also add 2 little bits that we are big on at Dell Technologies. Sustainability and security. This is not an afterthought. I always say intrinsic security by design. Do you mind, Rob, if we spent a couple of minutes on each one of these?
Let's do that. Let's break it down so everyone gets an idea that we have a collection of services that come together to help scale the creation of tokens. But actually what we're talking about is a factory for creating AI outcomes.
I love it, mate.
Cool. So let's go through them components one by one.
Beautiful. Let's talk about use cases very quickly. A customer came up to me at Dell Technologies World one day and he said, Ehab, what can you do with AI? And I looked at the gentleman, I said, Mr. Customer, you are limited by your imagination.
I love that.
Okay.
But therein sometimes lies the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Because then people get lost in the art of the possible rather than focusing on maybe something that's tangible and practical. Or they get lost in, well, maybe next month it'll be easier or better or faster because there'll be some new thing coming out. And I think almost AI is a victim of its own success in some ways because it's moving that fast. People are like, well, we'll wait till next month and it'll be better.
Oh, AI is
and then a year's gone by and we're like, well, we never started.
Absolutely.
Start.
AI is a competitive advantage. If you don't do it now, you will be left behind. We need to identify all the use cases. We need to prioritize all the use cases. We're not going to do work on all of them. We're only going to pick a couple. Huh? We've seen a lot of use cases. And we've built, I think, over 3,000 Dell AI factories in the last 3 years. And different scales. Some of them are huge, some of them are smaller, some of them are in the middle.
I think that's a good point, though, as well, because there's a connotation to a factory. And factory is a big thing. If you think about it from a manufacturing perspective, that's a large building doing something. And you listen to Jensen talk, and he talks about GB300s, and he talks about Vera Rubin, and he talks about massive factories.
Yes. It doesn't have to be massive, man.
We could go the other scale, and an AI factory could be one server.
Absolutely.
It's still an AI factory.
Half
So
a rack. Absolutely agree with
let's
you.
be really clear for everyone on the call is that the Dell AI factory doesn't mean that it has to be hundreds of millions.
One size does not fit all.
Yeah.
Okay?
But it's a concise, reference, scalable architecture that goes
Absolutely.
from one server to as big as it needs to be.
And it scales easily.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. So no one think it's not relevant to me because I'm not ready to spend 100 million. If you need to spend 500K, then you could stop.
You said it on one of the podcasts, Dell Pro Max with GB10. I think that's
Oh, yeah.
$4,000.
$4,000. Yeah, there's your starting point. Yeah,
That's it.
same software, same use cases. Perfect.
Use cases, content and code generation, digital assistant, data creation, computer vision, digital twins. I can go on. There's, like I said, you're limited by your imagination. But those are the most common use cases. And by the way, we can do another podcast on our Dell's AI internal journey. We're happy to share with all of our anything that we speak about, Rob, we're customer zero for it.
Yeah, I've heard that story, and we don't have time for it on this, but maybe we do a special edition because that is a really cool story actually about how you guys have driven your internal AI adoption and how that's transformed your business.
Yes. Yeah. And then do we have the data that comes into the Dell AI factory to help us achieve the use cases? And we're not going to spend too much on data because we already spoke about data. It comes from the edge, data center, and cloud. And we know that. I always say this and my friends laugh because I say it a lot. Remember, Rob, a long time ago, they taught us garbage in.
Garbage out.
With AI, my friend, it's garbage in, very expensive garbage out. Okay, so we need to get the data bit right. We said in the previous podcast that data was the number one reason why AI projects can fail. Then you start looking at the infrastructure. And sizing an AI factory is not for everybody. And that's why we're here to help. We make it easier. Okay, and we talk about client devices, AI PCs. You mentioned the small little Dell Pro Max with GB10. Do you need racks and racks and racks? How many tokens are you trying to generate? We've got customers who have trillions of tokens every month, but not all enterprises need that. Some small, medium businesses don't need that. We need to think about the compute, the storage, data protection and security, yeah? Networking, very critical component, yeah? The software. So this is the infrastructure layer that is the base of that factory. And Dell are very good at this piece as well. Anyone, Rob, who comes and says, all your AI, just come and buy it from me, there's something wrong, okay? Because on top of that infrastructure, and by the way, we can do a podcast on client devices, a podcast on compute, a podcast on storage, a podcast on data, yeah? Every one of this is a big subject, man. Then you look at the open ecosystem, applications, models, solutions, framework and tools. There's a place, Rob, I'm sure you've come across it, called Hugging Face, a repository of models that you can download. And you know what? Dell has its own area in Hugging Face, shall I say, where you can download the model and download the scripts that will allow your models to run optimally on the hardware, on the platform, the Dell platform, okay? And this is available and free. And sitting on top of all of this is, and again, we talked about it, the people side of things, the services. Okay, so who's going to come and do the strategy, the change management, the data, the platform, the use cases, operating and scaling? In the middle of all of this, Rob, trust, security, and governance is critical, man. Okay, it's not just about, oh, I've sold a server with some GPU, so it's an AI platform. It does not work like that. Man, we can spend another half an hour just talking about getting the data center ready for AI workloads. Power is a huge challenge, man.
Yep.
Yeah?
Is it cooling?
Absolutely. Liquid cooling, hybrid cooling, normal air cooling. Okay? There were some data centers in the Middle East, Rob. You'd walk into the data and find one or two servers in the rack because the power is really poor, delivering power. PoE. Rob, there are some implementations that we've done at Dell that the rack weighs 1.5 tons. So you need concrete floor, man, not a false floor. So even small little things like that. Rob, another example, we did a big implementation in, again, I won't mention customer names. The cabling alone, I think actually you guys were involved, was 3.5 miles long, man. So sometimes it's a server with some GPU. No, it's not just that.
No, it's all the stuff around it. And then what's really important, something we've been really focusing on, is how we can help customers get from that point of, I've placed an order, I have an AI factory en route. What is the time from that moment, which is the moment that the customer is on the hook for the cost of that, to the first token that factory produces? And the shortest time we can make that, the more value we get out of that investment.
I love it.
And that isn't just, well, it's going to turn up on a truck. Like you said, racking, flooring, security, cabling, optics. You know what I mean? All these things could derail them projects in no time flat. And we've worked with an ecosystem, because it is an ecosystem. So it's CW capability, Dell capability, other specialist partners coming together to deliver these factories at the scale and the pace that's needed to get the right value from our customers. And that's I think what the value of the joint partnership is there, is that joint expertise at different levels of the stack.
I'm going to end with some of the benefits of using the Dell AI factory, and it is an approach. A lot of customers again come and say, oh, is the Dell AI factory Dell's strategy? No. We have an AI strategy. Again, we could talk about that in another die. I've got on one slide. It's not a big deal. The Dell AI factory approach framework is how to deliver a factory of intelligence, factory of tokens, like you said, my friend. Faster time to value, better economics, better control, secure, compliant AI, scalability. Yeah, we talked about all of these problems. So the Dell AI factory solves all of these problems. Reduce risk, reduce complexity. AI, ladies and gentlemen, is not easy, but we can make it, as I said, easier for everybody listening.
I think the critical point, two critical points here. First one, really important. I've been watching the timer. Just under 11 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not bad. I'm fine with that. We had a bit of talk at the start, we had a bit of talk at the end, but I think the actual AI factory piece is just about 10 minutes. So beautiful. We're good with that. So that was point number one. And I think point number two is that it's a framework, as you said, that allows us to go from experimentation to production at scale. And that, like we said on the last episode, is a big blocker. How do I take this into enterprise-ready production?
Yes.
And I think that is a great way to end our series, really, is together, as in CW and Dell, with the UI use cases, with the factory, with our customers, let's go do some great things. Let's change the way businesses operate.
I love it.
Awesome. Excellent. So thank you, everyone, for listening. I've been Rob Sims, Chief Technologist for CW in the UK.
Ihab Ghazzawi, EMEA AI Partner Officer, signing off.
Thank you, Ehab, and thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next time.
Be sure to check out the back catalogue for more great insights. Don't forget to subscribe via your favourite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. We appreciate your support, and if you have a topic you want us to cover, feel free to reach out. Catch you next time.